Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to some NACE action here at Esports at NC State. We're playing Valorant Red taking on FIU Varsity. My name is Avinash, North Carolina. Joining me on the cast today is Cloudsy. How are you
Hello,
doing today?
everybody. I'm doing great. I'm ready to watch some Valorant. I haven't seen a whole lot from these guys this season, but I've been hearing their NACE matches have been going pretty okay. Got some interesting comps that hopefully we're going to see today. First off, we got Breeze. I see Fast
Breeze.
covering Reyna, and that scares me.
This new era of NC State that I'm dubbing the fast and generic era, plus Nothium, I guess he's joining at the same time, has been a lot of aim duels. They've been so. This is a team that is so mechanically
Reyna
gifted
lock in.
that if they lock in, they're going to shoot heads. And just like you said, the Reyna lock in is a confidence pick, and it's something that we're seeing a lot in VCT as well. Teams willing to pull out that super selfish duelist to take the early duels. And I like to see NC State playing to their strengths because this, as the Chamber lock in as well, Double Sentinel, this is looking like a team that is meant to take aim duels and win them. While the FIU side, a little bit more standard comp. Harbor Viper is in the cards, Jet as well. Very standard KO, becoming pretty popular on this map as well. So I think a bit more standard from FIU, but NC State looking to take some fights.
Yeah, definitely. NCSU, a very unconventional comp from what we've normally seen on Pro, both in VCT and the collegiate circuit. Double controller out of FIU, kind of normal. Harbor's kind of an iffy pick. If you can have someone who can play it, great. Um, Seeing KO over Gecko paired with that Harbor is kind of also an interesting thing to me. But both viable agents on this map, and I'm really to see what they cook up with it. Meanwhile, Fast on the Reyna, I know I was a little scared by it, and that's just because it's not a jet. Uh, um, Regardless, Fast is an aimer, and if he's gonna click heads, perfectly fine by me. Um, Having generic on that chamber is just gonna be another op presence, and especially with that ultimate 8 ult orbs, you get a free op. That's better than the one you have to pay 4,700 for. So I'm looking forward to what this match has in store. We see the FIU players grouping outside of A. Viper working back towards mid. It's
Both
looking like
walls are
an
already on
ace
the
split.
ground, so it looks like we're going to see a
Yeah.
bit of a commit. Fast looking to, or Ranger J looking to line up the one-way onto double doors, and I think it's going to be a fast A-pop for the side of FIU. All 5 members grouped up towards A main as they're going to take this contact up behind a Viper Molly. Dash already popped for the Jet as well, so this looks like it's going to be a commit.
Yeah, NCSU probably going to be looking to play full retake here. As you can see, they're all slowly working up that elbow position as FIU is sitting in main. The Ranger J on the Viper just stalling for his team to rotate. As you can see, Generic following up, coming up bridge right now. While the rest of NCSU going through mid. Couple
Free
players
side
in
take
tech
here
forward.
for FIU is they're going to get the bomb down. No damage has been taken by either side. The Cove has been used as well, so that's going to be a little bit difficult for them to protect their position once that goes down. Harbor Util has been used as well. Breach gets taken out on the flank as now it's a 4v5 situation. NC State still trying to retake. There's 1 player left on site, 1 player bricks, and 3 back in main. So this is a very, very strong post plan. I believe they still have Viper utility up as well. Fast will get 1 more back onto Furzon, get the kill as well, get the heal, and the defuse is started, but we still see the Sova still on site. He's going to take out Ranger J. Fast with a 3k, making it happen. Gets 1 more. It's a 1v1. Twisted has to run down Fast, and the kill's going to go to Fast. A 4k for the Reyna, and just like you said, Cloudsy, if he's going to frag, he's gonna make some impact.
Yeah, I mean, Reyna on pistol rounds is so huge already. Just 1 overkill and you already have heavy shields, and that's something no one else can buy on pistols. So seeing how much of an impact that had already is huge. I'm excited to see what more Fast can do throughout this match with this Reyna overheal. But a 4K, quick, easy, secures the round for NC State. It was looking grim for a moment. We saw that late wrap by both, who was it? Mathyla and Twisted late through mid and halls. Was looking a little rough for NC State, but Fast pulls it out. We see now another kind of a defaulty round. We see that Harbor, and I am having a hard time seeing that. I believe it's a Sova.
Fast gets the first pick already. Down halls with that Guardian and not getting 1 more with the Outlaw. Great purchase. We saw Aspas have a lot of effect with this weapon on the attack side, but nothing choosing to purchase it on the defense. And Generic, I think that's 3 1-taps in a row.
Here. Flash to recover the weapon. I believe that was a deagle. Very classic. Ooh, small whip by Breeds.
It was a close angle.
They're showing some presence beaming.
The pixel was there. I think in another world he gets that. And now securing the kill is Breeze, as he has his trip to protect himself. There was a little bit of damage done by Goldman, so there is the chance for a kill, but Generic will tag him up, and 1v5, all you have is a deagle. Ranger J's got his covered. He is triangulated, just waiting for someone to walk up on him. And Fast will secure the round, and that's a 2-0, another flawless, as NC State takes an early lead.
That's a really great start out of NCSU. I know a lot of people look at Breeze kind of as an attack-sided map, and it really just depends on what kind of comp you play. And I think in terms of FIU, they're running a bit more of a defensive comp. Sure, you have these double controllers to kind of lock down a site really early, but once that harbor wall drops, you got a, what is it, a 40-second cooldown till that comes back up again. So it's kind of dicey in terms of what you have to offer.
I think what we're going to be looking for in FIU is for them to secure their post plants a little bit better. On that pistol round, they had such an easy time getting onto site, but then they weren't super confident in their post plant, and they went for a mid wrap that just didn't seem to work out as fast. Going to take this first engagement onto Goldman, take a little bit of damage, trade a little bit of damage out, but Nut going to get the first pick with the Outlaw still, and Drone's going to tag up Lathyla as he's going to be in between a rock and a hard place. As Fast will get one more onto Goldman. It's now a 5v3 already, as we've seen FIU just fail to get on site.
Yeah, Lathyla and Twisted finding 2 picks there on the Breeds and Fast. Nuthium, the 3rd to fall. Ranger J, the 4th. It's all down to Generic. Bombs going down on that B site. Generic able to find one other Twisted. The bombs have been down. They know he's towards main. They know he's window towards main. Lathyla backing off towards Tons, looking to play, or sorry, have goodness, Silva play off of their contact. They might have heard a step here, elbow. They're doubled up, holding the angle. Falling off backside. They're trying to play as safe as possible. They know that he has to cross both of them. Unable to find the first, and the round goes to FIU.
I really thought that Drudd was going to get timing there because he got off the angle as soon as Generic walked into tunnels, and Lathyla was in a pretty dangerous spot there as well. But no harm, no foul. The kill, the duel goes towards the side of FIU, and they're going to put their first round on the board. Full buy round now for NC State. 3 guns off of the FIU team, so they're a little worse for wear in their buy, most likely.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a scuffed buy, but a buy nonetheless. NCSU now back on full economy. Those bonus weapons, you know, did their job. Let's see here. A slow hit towards the B site with a few late lurkers elsewhere just to hold some map presence. We see Breeds not able to see anything yet. Nuthium here doubled up on the site with him. Early Sova drone out of the side of FIU.
It's a solid
Any
position.
information.
I really like this setup from Breed. It's so hard for this team to get off, and I love the jet, the placement for the jet dash on the trip. But the shock dart will take it out. Nice dart. We'll ping 2, but Furzan gets the first pick as Lathyla gets one more into Nuthium. The Empress is popped for Fast, so there is some potential for a miracle play as he's gonna get the first pick onto Lathyla. And now the Viper's pick has gone down on site for the side of FIU. We'll see if NC State's going to be able to convert the 3v4.
Fast is aware of Furzan's position. The push wall away to kind of take away that half wall position as Ranger J comes through tunnels. One, Fast a second.
That's the Viper's pit down as well. 1v2 for Goldman as he doesn't have any utility and is on super low HPs. Generic will start to stick the defuse as Fast will complete the round. 3v5 for NC State as they're going to convert onto their first gun round and force FIU back onto a save.
Okay.
Yeah, beautiful retake out of NC State, honestly. They were able to get isolated 1v1s or 2v1s and just clean up the round. Really well done. Fast showing huge impact on this arena. I'm such a great cook by their coach, Blazetap.
Really, really nicely done. I love the let's not overthink it. Let's play to our strengths. Let's play what we can execute really well and we can allow our players to flourish on. And I think it's perfect for their playstyle. It's perfect for the way that this team has evolved over the years. And you can already see an op online for Generic as well. What I'm hoping to see is a little bit of the way the G2 was playing this map. In VCT just a little bit ago, they were passing the op around between Jonah and between their duelist Leaf. And I think NC State has potential to do the same as... That's a bit of a lazy play from Generic. He's just going to get walked up on.
Yeah, just a little unlucky timing. You know, he was going to check that mid angle, swung a little wide, but now that op's down in nest, and you can just see Ranger J aware of Lethyla, but unable to get the kill. That Marshall ringing true, finding the kill, and we see FIU just slowly working mid, trying to make as much presence on both sites in order to kind of keep NCSU in the dark.
Those first two picks were really nice from FIU, but they weren't able to recover any guns, so even if it is a 3v5, they're still on pistols, a Marshall, and a Guardian. So if Fast is able to get started here, it's going to be very difficult for any of these players to get a trade. The Deagle may be able to ring true. All of these players so high rank in the solo queue, they all have the aim to be able to make it happen with the Deagle. And Fast has his work cut out for him as there's 4 players creeping forward onto site. The flash goes through the wall for Goldman.
And the bomb's going down for the side of FIU. Nuthium able to find one on the Twisted. Drud finding the trade back on the Fast. Nuthium back in the stairs position. Finds another kill on the Drud. Trades back his teammate. Are they aware of Furzon mid? No, they are not. Furzon finds one. Breach backside all alone in a 1v2 situation. That horrible wall gonna make it really hard to push through this because, you know, it slows you when you try to go through.
Ooh, the jump over acrobatics from Breed as he's gonna push onto site. Is aware of where Furzon could be, but the timing just isn't there for him as Furzon swings out, gets the one tap, and that is going to be a thrifty for FIU.
Yeah, that's not what you want when you're NCSU. I mean, that early pick onto generic kind of took away a lot of that mid presence. That op was gonna be huge for them, and unfortunately it wasn't. Kind of a interesting strat that FIU has here with just repeatedly working mid. We're sending kind of the attack squad of Jet, Sova, and I believe Harbor towards any particular site just to kind of show their presence and get some info. And we see everyone kind of gearing towards this mid position, both Nuthium and Fast walking down mid, establishing early control. And we see FIU just kind of huddled back towards their... Is Furzon aware of Fast in this corner?
There's 2 players here.
Finds one.
That's got to be scary as now another thrifty maybe in the cards as we have 2 players on the side of NC State. The Hunter's Fury getting popped by Nuthium. Ranger J getting one with the Classic and another one for Nuthium. Oh my goodness, 2v4 now as Ranger J taken very low. The drone will tag one more, but that's another thrifty. That's another thrifty.
Thriftied right back, 2 in a row. Goodness, beautiful play out of NC State. Honestly, that early walk down mid, and FIU were playing so careful since they had that gun advantage, and they knew that they had that gun advantage. But NC State, we don't care. We just walk down mid, and we shoot them. That's what we're known for. We're shooters, right? Why think hard? Just shoot.
A lovely change of... I do want to... a lot of that was definitely some mechanical, just some outplay, some skill, but I do want to credit the change of pace from NC State. It was definitely a planned thing on the eco round to take some space in mid, allow them to get that first pick. It's Fast swings into 2 and gets 2. This Reyna is popping off for NC State.
Yeah, Fast early too. That's gonna, you know, throw a wrench into FIU's plans as we see everyone kind of trying to group on the spike now. Just re-clearing a lot of this position that was given up by that early double kill by Fast. Now we just see NC State kind of playing back as you should in this situation. You have numbers; they have to push you. You got to remember that you're playing defense. You're playing the clock here. Fast just kind of re-clearing this mid position. Being allowed to walk down mid. Now towards elbow. FIU gearing towards this B-bomb site. The flash out. Aware, beautiful dart, unable to get the kill on the Drud. 40 HP though. Breach finds one, Fast finds the next. And now it's just Twisted all alone on ladder.
1v4 for the Viper as Breach will secure the kill. Had the cam on him the whole time. There was nothing more for Twisted to do. Is NC State really nicely secured round off of the back of Fast getting those first 2 picks. And then the re-exploration into mid I think was a great decision from him. Just all around, super clean play from NC State. As we're going to see a Marshall purchased up for the side of FIU. They're on a bit of a save, a hero rifle for Goldman. But this is looking very, very solid for the defense of NC State. You mentioned earlier, this is a pretty attack-sided map, so not bad for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, I mean, I'm unsure of what the map picks are for this series that will be relayed to us, hopefully, after this first map. But we see FIU just contacting up this A main position, and, you know, a lot of these you get some early info util, now execing onto the site. Breed's aware of their exit out of main. And NC State's forced to play retake here. A bit of an eco round for FIU, if I'm not mistaken. But they do have a couple of huge ults online, especially for this post plant. The Sova ult and the Harbor ult could come in huge.
This is going to be a challenge for NC State. Generic does have the op, and Twisted is on a great little re-exploration of mid, and he could run into two here, get a really nice timing on a fast, and Ranger J. Nothing will get the first with his shock dart. As Twisted, his flank pays off as Ranger J goes down. They are aware of him now. Lathyla will get one more with the Marshall Goldman with the Guardian singing. Is this going to be a 4v2? NC State going to struggle to defuse this bomb now, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, especially with Twisted on that mid doors position. Finds one onto Generic. Goldman finding the last on Nuthium, and that's the round for FIU. That was a really well played Thrifty. We're getting Thrifty after Thrifty, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, actually.
I think we're just going to Goodwill today.
We're really going to Goodwill. We're going to Goodwill. We're getting
some
round, eco convert after eco convert.
We're getting some good pulls. We got like the crazy T-shirts with like the insane logos from 1997 on them. Just
oh yeah. You know, it's always great. You've got a lot of vintage finds today, if you know what I'm saying.
5-3 is the scoreline. NC State still in the lead, but FIU catching up slowly. Little by little, round by round. We're getting closer and closer, and now the Reckoning, a fast take here for the side of FIU, combined with the KO ultimate means that this Reyna is not going to have an easy time staying on site, as he will get the first pick, doesn't get the second as the Reckoning stun will connect. Now it is a 4v4 situation. The site belongs to FIU with one player sitting back in main for the post plant. Nicely done by Richard. We'll get one more. It's now a 1v4 as all three gunfights go the way of NC State. Twisted into 1v4.
Yeah, it's just Twisted alone. Still has one Molly, but not sure what that's going to do. Finds the first onto Nuthium. Still 3 NCSU players in that op, trained on that main position. Twisted's going to have to make something happen here. Unable to do so. Generic finds the kill with the op, and that's the round for NC State. The defuse coming through. Is that the pipe roll? Burned?
Cautious from Ranger J, but securing the round. You can't be mad.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it doesn't hurt to be too cautious, but interesting that it was a 4v1, and then we anyway.
Something
you know what?
I
won't question it. They know more than me.
We can move on now as we see the op in the hands of Fast instead of Generic. What I mentioned earlier about them switching the op positioning up and switching which agent has it. This is a great little curveball to throw as they're not going to expect it here, and looks like Fast is going to get this first engagement as well. But as Goldman is actually the one to get the kill here, that's going to be a great first pick for the side of FIU, and that's going to make the side take way easier. Ooh, Twisted getting one more on a Ranger J as well.
Yeah, Lathyla recovering that op is going to be huge, especially on this post-plant positioning. Nuthium fighting for his life on site, finds one on the Goldman.
That's the planter as well. Farzan has to maybe commit the cove or something, but the harbor wall will go down. Nuthium and Generic are here. Breeze is rotating through mid, and he doesn't have any lurkers to deal with. All of the players are towards the main side. One op in the hands of Lathyla as he goes down. Generic one more with the chamber dig, and that's all 3 kills going to NC State. A beautiful retake off the back of Generic.
This is just aimed at. I'm not even gonna lie. It's that they knew that Farzan was there behind the harbor wall or not is irrelevant. It just finds the quick one onto Lathyla and then a quick switch to the secondary. That chamber dig ringing true, and now a timeout from the side of NC State. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised. Maybe just looking to switch up the pacing a little bit, just kind of solidifying their game plan as Coach Tapp kind of brings them to a pause here.
This has definitely got to be a mental timeout for Blaze Tapp. He does love to play these little games. He loves to mess around with the timing. He loves to get in the opponent's heads, and after a retake like that, calling a timeout, letting them stew in it and talk about maybe flame each other a little bit if they have to. It's a pretty interesting tactic, but it's a double-edged sword because now FIU's coach Wilmer gets to talk about it and gets to say, hey, this is where you guys are going wrong. This is where you guys can fix your stuff. This is where they're getting all of these openings, and that's valuable information. So we're going to find out pretty quickly if this was a mistake from Blaze Tapp or if it's the genius play that we all expect him to go through.
Yeah, I honestly think that they're just gonna try to cook something here. You know, it's an equal buy from both teams, but NC State's got a lot more in the bank, I'd imagine.
I wonder if we get to see maybe a set play from NC State. We haven't seen a ton of them on this defensive half, and naturally on defense, when you have a Cypher setup like this, your default is to let the Reyna and the Chamber go around taking first duels. But I think like stuff like the mid push that they did on that first Thrifty round could prove to be pretty lethal against this FIU team, which has been playing around these contact plays all the time. This has been their bread and butter. They've been just trying to get out on site and trying to hold it. But NC State, maybe they should change their setup a little bit, just because it hasn't been working for FIU.
Yeah, they're honestly NC State's just kind of playing back, not allowing for some of those early picks unless they have the op online. You see Fast and Nuthium and Breeds all playing back in this kind of chain towards top hall back site of A. And we saw early the Harbor push wall coming out, and I've been waiting for that all game. That's such a great tool to take control of this hall's position. Now just Goldman making some noise as his team escapes towards the B-bomb site. NCSU still playing back, pretty passive. Not a whole lot of info to work off of as Ranger J just jiggles main. Cypher trips on the B-bomb site, so that Cypher can roam free. He could still be there, but still allowed to have some help for Ranger J.
NC State bit pretty hard on this fake. You saw the Harbor wall come out in order to force NC State to rotate a couple players, and now we see Fast and Breeds already on the rotation. 4 players coming out from main, 1 player lurking up halls for the side of FIU. The site is completely theirs, and let's see if Furzon is going to get a timing on the Fast, as he will.
Yeah, Fast goes down Furzon. We do have the Viper ult online for the side of FIU. Sova ult back. They're all overly. Oh my goodness, it's ult after ult on this map. Breeds going down to Drud, Sova ult. Peeks back wall finds another onto Generic. Sova Dart scans a couple. Along that back wall, they're aware of Nuthium's position. Ranger J finding the trade, perfect timing. He was not aware of Furzon wrapping mid though, and that's the round for FIU. 7-4 for NCSU. Beautifully played, honestly, out of FIU.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, they showed some really early presence towards A. You know, that push wall, trying to spook them a little bit, and then just quick rotate towards B. Exec on the site. They know that was the weak side. Just beautifully done.
I wonder what Wilmer said in that timeout. I wonder if it was like, hey, you guys have gone to the site that you've shown in the first seconds every single time. Throw 1 fake. And they did exactly that, and they went around. So I'm going to give credit to Coach Wilmer on that one. As we see NC State locking down this hall's position. Generic with the off. Ooh, the timing not quite there. He's going to get a bit of an aggressive position. I like it, but Lathyla going to take him out.
That Harbor wall coming in clutch. As I was mentioning earlier, that's a great way to take that hall's position, as you can see FIU just did. Nuthium, unfortunate timing, swung by 4 as they flood onto the site. It's now a 4v3 retake as the bomb goes down. No ults online for either team, but Fast on the flank. Are they aware of his presence, though?
In a long time. Furzon is holding for it, and he is in a bit of an off angle, so I don't know if Fast is going to be expecting it. He's not, as Furzon will take him out. It's a 2v4, as Breets and Ranger J have their work cut out for them. Lathyla and Drud in this great high-low position. And Breets is going to get taken out. It's 1v4 for Ranger J. He gets dinked through the wall as well. Let's see if he's able to... He's going to get 1. Going to not be able to get the second as Drud. We'll take him out. Make it a 7-5 half, and that's a pretty good recovery for the side of FIU Varsity.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely better than any alternative that the early part of this game was looking at, you know? It was not looking great, but FIU brought that back to a nice half. It is an attack-sided map again, and I did mention how this FIU team comp looks like it's a little more defense-oriented, just because that Harbor wall is going to be able to slow down some of these pushes. KO nade, Viper Molly, all good stall util, Sova shock darts. So I'm really interested to see how they set up going into this pistol round. But again, Fast on that Reyna. 2 charges on the heal and dismiss, and I imagine a ghost in hand. Yep.
Yeah. He wants to take these fights.
I want to see what he cooks. If he gets shut down, it's unfortunate, but otherwise this could be a huge turning point in this pistol round.
I think the 7-5 half isn't feeling amazing for NC State, considering they're on double Sentinel. That's they probably wanted maybe 8-4, 9-3 if they could, but now Drud on the defensive against 3 players in the elbow position. This is so much space taken by NC State, as they have now split the map pretty evenly. Generic waiting for a push out from A. I think he heard something from the side of Lathyla or from Farzan, as Fast gets a little bit more damage down onto Goldman. Two of these players tagged up so low is going to be hard for FIU to play freely in this round now.
Yeah, you see FIU kind of grouping towards this backside of B, while you still have Lathyla and Farzan fighting for this Hall's position. Finds one onto Generic, finds a second onto Breeds. That's not great if you're NC State. Now all the players grouped in mid, kind of just corralled into mid at this point. It's really interesting in seeing what space they have, what space they don't have. Look at FIU; they have so much information. Farzan holding Halls. You have KO all the way down main, holding for that main push.
30 seconds.
And two
low.
holding
Last
tunnels.
player
the
standing.
high-low.
Flawless.
And Drud and Twisted close out the round.
That was beautiful. I do want to say Farzan went huge this round. This was all on the Harbor. Getting both of those kills, even one of them was enough to really win them the round with how NC State was positioned. But if he goes down there, it becomes so much easier for NC State to just pivot towards A. But Farzan getting both kills, leveraging his little head glitch angle there. Really nicely done, bringing it to 6 rounds, only 1 behind NC State now, as NC State on a full save. I say that in Fast bottom Marshall.
Well, you know, gotta click heads. Nuthium also has a Marshall in hand, so let's just see.
I
Click
lied.
heads.
Fast bought a Deagle and Nuthium bottom Marshall. Close enough.
Close enough, close enough. Again,
Cross map
this-
dart I think I saw from Nuthium to spot out who was playing on A. And now he's going to take a little bit of that mid space and allow Ranger J to hold for... Ooh, my god, he saw
Oh,
him!
he sees him. He sees him, but unable to take a clean shot. Drud now droning out mid. They're aware of Nuthium's position. Do they see Fast yet? They are aware of his position. Twisted coming on towards that mid door angle. As NC State again looking just like they're forced into mid. Time after time. That late lurk from Generic main. Fast finds the kill on the Twisted. That Spectre not proving to be useful at long ranges. Gets the overheal. As Farzan now walking out mid behind Fast. Is Fast aware of it?
Drud is alone on site. Farzan will take out Fast in mid, but Ranger J and Breeds are both here, and now it's a 3v3. Guns are still in favor of FIU, but the site is in favor of NC State. A Guardian in the hands of Farzan, and he's been so clean these past couple rounds. I want to see if he's going to be able to make it happen anymore, but Generic, on this late lurk, maybe he can catch a timing onto all 3 of these players, because none of them are looking towards Halls right now. As soon as I say that, Lathyla looks over, as does Goldman, both players chasing, as they're going to give up and let him go back to main.
I'd love to see a little bit more hesitancy out of Generic, just to get that perfect timing. Finds the kill onto Farzan, the shock dart coming in, and Generic back on the wrap again to kill Lathyla. That's an eco at NC State, and we love to see it. We love to see it.
There were, I believe, there was a Deagle in play for one of those. No, there was 2 classics and a Marshall, and we saw kills from 2 classics and a shock dart. Really nicely done by NC State. Their classics, no right clicks as well. Everything was clean, fair play. No RNG was had on that round, and just NC State winning another retake.
Yeah, I mean, their retake game has been pretty solid so far. From what we've seen, now we see Generic gearing towards this Hall's position. Early Harbor Wall to cut off any push A main. A trip placed on the Among Us door, as some people like to call it. Early shock dart to secure the orb, as NC State backs off. I think that was just all they wanted. And now they're just kind of testing the waters a little bit, seeing what they can find. Again, both teams playing kind of far back, just poking and prodding into each other and seeing what they can find.
It's going to be, this is a bit of a bonus round for the side of NC State, as I believe they saved 3 guns, but Breeds has a full rifle, and I believe whoever else died, I think it was Fast, should also have a rifle in his hands. The flash is coming out from Reyna for them to be able to take this site, and now they're probably just going to get a free plant down, as the FIU side is only on pistols.
Yeah, they're a bomb. The bomb goes down. Generic finding one on the Goldman, Twisting finding the trade back on the Breeds. Fast finding another on Twisted. Are they aware of Drud on this half wall position? Yes, they are. Fast finding a second.
Really nicely done. That little swing onto half wall was really pretty from Fast, and now Lathyla alone in 1v3 does have a Guardian, so it is doable. But this is 3 players. That's the first one on Nukium. Is a nice shot. Dash forward, and he's gonna get taken out. As really nicely done by the last 2 players of NC State, swinging apart from each other so that he had to pick one. Just, yes, I love little micro plays like that.
Yeah, I mean, that was really good last-second decision-making out of NC State. Just swing. I'm gonna swing left. You're swinging right, and they just knew. The dash was a little overambitious, I think, out of Lathyla, but you know, I respect it. I respect it a lot. So, I'm really excited to see what they do on this full buy round. It seems like only 1 Guardian, I think, for the side of NC State. So that is, ooh, the op online for Lathyla. This could be huge in this mid position, especially if Ranger J isn't ready for it. Doesn't look like he's going to push that mid position at all. Just seems like they're going to group up towards halls and see if they can contact up there. Wow,
Has
the
Goldman
Viper
been
Orb.
buying the Guardian the whole game? I don't think I've seen him have a rifle for like the entire game.
Maybe it's like a Jonah P eco situation. You know what I mean? How like
Yeah.
every eco Jonah P has a Guardian that he just wins it.
Yeah, and maybe it's a comfort thing. I get it. I've been there.
Yeah.
Twisted holding out this molly to try to see if he can spot out Breeds. Is there just playing chicken with each other for the most part. This is a fake from Breeds to try to get some presence, to get some rotates over, but there are 3 players towards this A site, while 4 players from NC State are stacked up in main. The Cascade will go down, the flash will come out from Fast, and the site take delayed just a little bit by the Viper mollies, by the Viper wall, by the Harbor detail. But Fast gonna pop the Empress and go for some duels.
Yeah, well, they are aware of Furzon on this left pyramid position. Finds the kill on the Ranger J. The planner down. Goldman backside, caught unaware by NCSU Fast.
30 seconds
Twisted
left.
fighting another round of Breeds. It's now 3v4 for the side of FIU.
This is
Bombs
rotated
recovered.
so fast. He's already in double doors and ready to support this. Fast is alone on site, and as both of his teammates are far behind. Furzon going to walk up onto Fast, and he's going to get the kill. Beautifully swung with the shock dart damage as well, and this has become so difficult for NC State. Generic will get one, but it's a 1v3, and the bomb's already down on site. There's FIU can just sit and wait.
Yeah, not really sure what each team's eco is looking like. You know, if it's that save is worth it, or if Generic should have just gone for damage.
You pick a gun and it tells me who you are.
We'll have to see what comes of this round. If we could hold tab, we could see what NC State's buy is looking like. Oh yeah, that was a much needed save out of NC State, keeping that rifle online, and some money to go around for another rifle buy if need be. But FIU just keeping that operator online is huge for them. Building up that economy behind it is also going to prove them well on this defensive half.
We're gonna see a bit of a battle here in mid as the Viper Molly goes down onto Lathyla. 2 players watching his position. He has the op trained on the angle, but the Rainalier will push him off. Fast, with a rifle in hand, looking to make an impact as he's gonna walk through the Viper smoke as well. So much space in mid available for NC State. Trud will get one onto Fast. Twisted one onto Breeds, and both first engagements make it all 3 first engagements going the side of FIU. Just unfortunate timing for Generic there, I think.
Yeah. He was moving on the rope, right? Like, I'm not making that up. Ranger J finds the late lurk on the Twisted. Gets the Viper ult one more until this Viper ult can come online. It's looking like it might happen. Unable to, finds the kill through the Viper wall in order to kill Trud. Plant's going down. Is the Viper pit gonna come through?
I think if he gets 1v3. If he gets 1 pick, he'll go for it. But I do like this play from Ranger J, choosing to save it for another day, for a brighter day, and maybe try to get an off angle. This is a pretty unexpected position to be playing in, so I wonder if he gets timing by Goldman, as he'll get the first one. Goldman whiffing, but Lathyla there to confirm. That's going to be an 8th round on the board for the side of FIU Varsity. Good effort from Ranger J.
Yeah, really well done. Honestly, the damage done is great if you're NC State. I'm not complaining about that round at all. We got the spike down. We got 3 of 5 guns. Unfortunately, one of them was not the off. But I think we really are kind of gathering information going into each of these attack rounds. So 9-8, not a terrible spot to be in. And let's just see if NCSU can convert on this next round.
For sure. I like the way that they're stacked up towards this B site. We haven't seen a ton of B early aggression from them. We've seen a lot of mid, a lot of A main. But I want to see if they can. I would love to see a fast play. They don't really have the potential for it
You
without a
want to
dive
play?
agent.
Let's
No Raze,
play.
no Jet, not even a Yoru or a Neon to speak of. But the Reyna will be able to take this first engagement, and I think they're looking for something onto Twisted as Drud. Holding this elbow position. One lurker breeds, but Furzon walked all the way down halls and just gets the first pick.
Poison's off.
Yeah, just contact down halls. It's that late lurk was unfortunately punished. Flash planning though, one onto the thigh, where that op is going to be down on the ground half wall. Shooting the Reyna eyes. They know that Fast has been inserted into the site. The rest of his team though, unfortunately stuck in main. They're just kind of waiting for this Viper wall to go up. Now the plank going
Shot
down.
from Fast. Onto the op, no less. That was ridiculous. And he gets the entry onto the site with his dismiss as well. The Viper's Pit gets to go down. This is a pretty easy hold for NC State if they're able to trade out effectively. Ranger J does have a stinger in hand, but that's a pretty effective weapon when you're inside of the Viper's Pit. But now Nathium in a 1v3. The bomb is being stuck inside the cove, and Goldman and Drud had Nut absolutely triangulated. There's nothing for them to do.
Yeah, like you said earlier, that Viper's Pit was being saved for that brighter day, you know? And unfortunately, that brighter day happened to have a Harbor ult on top of it. The rain came through, and it's currently raining because of the Kuronami finisher. But, yeah, really unfortunate. It's like one of the better counterplays to a Viper ult. And on Breeze, that's an agent everyone's running, so maybe FIU accounted for that in this Harbor pick of their comp. But
I just want to give a lot of
unfortunately-
credit to Furzon in general, who has just been on his game this game. He's gotten so many huge first engagements, so many huge picks, and just he's sniffing out the lurker every single time. A lot of credit to this Harbor player because he has been super effective.
Yeah. I mean, early dart from Nucleum. Just trying to get some information for Zon, shutting it down immediately. The Sova ult down halls. It's going to see huge value tagging too.
But
Luckily,
only the
Generic
tag.
escapes with his life. Only the tag, still huge damage for Zon.
Oh my god,
Flash
Furzon!
out, gets one on a Ranger J. Nucleum trades it back though.
Was there a
Derek's
KO
still
flash
inserted.
behind that?
There
I think
was.
There was.
There was.
Super,
Goldman
super
threw a
nicely
KO
done.
flash through the Harbor wall and blinded Ranger J and Nucleum. Unfortunately, not for long enough.
Oh, the
Generic,
timing.
unlucky timing. As Drud finds the kill. And another one Halls breeds. Is he aware of Drud? It won't matter. Goldman gets the kill, and Drud finds the kill on the fast. Nucleum finds one. Dark coming through. He's swinging into two. Finds the kill on a Goldman, but Drud finishes it out with a classic. That's now 10-9 for the side of FIU. If I'm NC State, I'm getting a little nervous.
Lead taken by FIU. Really nicely done. Again, Furzon. I'm shocked that he got one in that first engagement because he was staring into two people. I think he was also half blind as Tap going to call a timeout here. It's got to. This one definitely can't be a mental game because at this point you got to talk about what's going wrong here. They're losing every single first engagement. It feels like NC State.
Yeah, I think this timeout is much more needed, especially since you're seeing a lot of that momentum built up by FIU. That first timeout, you know, we were saying, oh yeah, it's a mental timeout, but I really think that NCSU had a lot of momentum, and that timeout kind of took a little bit away from them. But that's semantics. We don't gotta worry about that. But this timeout will hopefully give NC State some time to regroup, recover, and convert on this round. We still see that up on the line for with Iowa. It's been quite potent so far in their hands, and I'm not really sure what NC State's cooking this round, but I'm hoping they can convert on it.
Lathyla's been very solid this whole time, but really, I think NC State doesn't even have to look for the op that much because the real issue is this Harbor that's just been catching every single timing on them. That's been lurking up with perfect like game sense. Like this guy's in their heads. Like he's got ESP or something because I swear every single lurk has been good. Lathyla gonna go for this first engagement onto Breeze. I wonder if there's gonna be a swing here, but it's just gonna be the trip as Breeze gets real close to taking that fight, but chooses to not. Smart move.
Breetz's spidey senses were tingling in there. Yeah, I don't know if they saw Furzon though, tucked in this Bricks position. This could be lethal if NC State chooses to commit to the site. They have nothing else to clear that close angle. Furzon working up. Are they aware? Flash comes through. Farzan gets one on the fast. Unable to escape with his life. Nuthium gets the trade back. The dart going back sight. Goldman ready to flash at a moment's notice. Don't think Nuthium's looking to push the issue much further. KO knife coming through.
Farzan is just
Farzan is a
unreal,
maniac,
man.
dude. He's a maniac.
He's
He's
swinging.
saying, flash for me,
Rita.
I'm swinging. He says, I'm going. Flash for me and I'll take care of the rest. But yeah, on Harbor too.
That's not the
On
agent
Harbor.
that you're expecting to take the first engagement ever, but he's taken like every single one, and he's winning them. Like the confidence is there for Farzan. What a beast!
30 seconds left.
Oh, generic caught lacking as Lefila slowly reclears mid. Now it's just 3 players of NC State kind of grouped towards this A bomb site. We're gonna have to make something happen here. They aren't aware of Goldman and Strud. Strud working upstairs, gets the kill onto Breeds. Nuthium trades it back. They know that op is bridge. They are painfully aware that that op is bridge.
One enemy
As
remaining.
now, are they aware of Twisted? Well, they're gonna have to be. That Viper Molly's coming through from mid. The double swing. Twisted gets the kill, and that's another round for FIU.
Really nicely
I
done.
don't know. It was really nicely done. NC State's got some. Gotta get it together. I'm not saying that it's a mess necessarily, but there are a lot of disjointed players. A lot of times we're thinking, okay, someone's holding this, or you know, there's no way that this could go south. But then you have Farzan out of nowhere with a KO flash at his back. A lot of really good combinations of util out of FIU that are really just catching NCSU off guard.
Dude, Farzan, bro, he's just a beast.
Dude,
What
he's
is-
just
what
a
can you
beast.
do? What can you even do when your duelists are like getting first blooded by the controller player? Like this is a tough situation to be in if you're NC State. As fast is gonna get tagged up by the op as well. You're already struggling.
Yeah, 4 HP, but thankfully that's Arena, so that's just one unaware player we need for Fast to get a significant amount of HP back. You see NC State, again, just kind of huddled bottom mid, trying to get as much info, but Breeds all the way up Pulse. He has so much control. Farzan destroys his site for Trip. He's got a little bit of ego, but he backs away at the right moment. Right before NC State comes through. The Sova drone through, broken by Farzan. They are aware of Breeds. Holy.
The timing was there for Drud, and Breeds only had a deagle, so it was a little more. It was a little harder for him to get that kill against a rifle, but that's a first kill. Another first blood going to the side of FIU. I feel like they've won the past like 10 rounds first engagements.
Where's Fast? Oh. I spoke too soon, I guess, or too late, rather. Farzan getting forced out of the corner by the Viper's pit, or Viper's Molly, sorry. Finds the kill on Nuthium, traded back by Generic. They're aware that NC State is now on the bomb site with that Sova dart. A couple of shock darts of damage. Ranger J gets the bomb down. Generic tucked back main, looking to play for post plant. They are aware of his position, though. GP's away.
Are going to be necessary for NC State to win this round. It's going to need to be Generic going huge, getting 1 or 2 of these picks. Ranger J maybe getting one of his own, as he's going to go down first. The first kill will go to Generic, as he's going to get 2 here, but Goldman just able to stick the defuse. He's safe, as Lefila has his back, and a shorty coming out. That'll be game point for the side of FIU Varsity.
Yeah, it's just a lot of really unfortunate first picks. I honestly want to say, as great as Farzan has been, as great as Lethila's been with this operator, Goldman, clutch flashes. I mean, insane, impossible to turn flashes out of Goldman. You saw it right there in the post plant, 1v2, beautiful flash through the Viper wall in order to isolate both Generic and Ranger J, securing the round for FIU.
I've been so impressed by their team play. It's been so nice. You see all these little micro plays, these micro pops around Goldman's utility, around Farzan's walls, and they're going for it. But now NC State looking to change the pace, looking to speed things up, as we have 4 players coming out from main, 1 lurker in mid, and that's Generic, and so much space already taken by NC State. FIU forced to retake.
Spike planted.
Yeah, like you were saying, Generic's kind of holding this mid position to try to get a late wrap. Just after the bomb's been planted. He's biding his time like I was looking for. Sova coming through. Reyna ult. Fast finds one. Nuthium finds another with the Sova ult. Generic finding a third, fourth from Nuthium. And now it's all down to Twisted. Rewrapping mid finds the kill onto Generic, but now all of NCSU knows where he is. All they have to do is play time. Breitz alone on the bomb site, hoping to create a, off-angle position. Twistin aware, though. Unable to get the kill. Breitz finds it, but the awareness from Twistin is great.
Really nice little setup at the end there for NC State. They saw one player in halls, and immediately you saw them just rush to their positions. One on the right side of the pyramids, one close left, and the double swing at the end was enough to secure the round. And NC State trying to claw things back. One mistake, one more first engagement goes Farzan's way, and this game might be over for them. So they have to play perfectly from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a full buy for the side of NC State. As they group towards this B bomb site, we see Twistin ready to put down that Viper orb, and now the early Harbor All to get with Iowa onto that angle. It could be lethal.
Oh, I love
If
this
you-
play
if
from
you click-
Generic.
Generic holding it a little too high, but if Lathyla might just be able to click. It finds the kill onto Generic. Unfortunate for NCSU.
The timing
Where
for Fast is so good! He's gonna
Beautiful
make it outside
timing.
for free! That's such a huge play for Fast, as now 4 players from NC State getting onto the B site, and they're forced to retake. The Hunter's Fury will go out. Nothing will take one hit. Will he take another? No other tags, as now the bomb will be able to go down, but that spots so much time for the FIU players to rotate. You see 2 players in arches, 2 players in mid. This is going to be a huge, huge fight for both teams. Farzan will get the first onto Breitz and start things off for FIU.
And now down to this 3v5 Nuthium, extremely low. They are aware of his position. The dart goes out, gets one scan off. Lathyla holding with the op, a little bit of a bait, getting scanned by that dart. And that's a secured round for
That is a good
FIU.
game.
That's a great game, honestly. If I'm NCSU, I can't be mad. FIU
Defenders
kind of
win.
set the pace for that. Played, honestly, really well on both sides. Just a lot of really great team play out of FIU. The usage of harbor walls with numerous KO flashes through them, with Ila just being ready at a moment's notice to take that op shot. We see Fast at the top of the leaderboard. Might have been able to get so many frags, but unable to secure rounds for the team. And 8 first bloods on Farzan. Are you kidding?
Holy moly, this Harbor went crazy this
8
game.
first bloods on Farzan is insane.
What a beast.
Holy, what a beast.
Don't go anywhere. We're going to be back in just a couple of minutes. We're going to be right on to map 2. I'm not really sure what map 2 is, but we're going to find out in just a little bit. But don't go anywhere. We're going to be back in just a sec.
Welcome back as we're about to head into map 2 as NCSU takes on FIU Varsity in this week's NACE match. We did a little bit of digging in the pause. We found out that map 1 was not NC State's map pick and was in fact FIU's map pick. We now go to Sunset, which was NC State's map pick, and hopefully looking for a little bit of a different result. 13-10 on your opponent's map pick is not bad. I will say that is more than ideal for maybe something that NC State hasn't prepped that much.
Yeah, I think you saw. It felt like FIU was super well prepped on Breeze. All the little micro plays they were making, all the little KO flashes they were doing. Goldman seemed so ready to get all of his teammates involved, and we just saw Farzan go so crazy on the harbor in that first map. And I wonder if he's going to be able to find that same success on the second map. NC State starting on the attackers as FIU starting on the defenders, as we see Rays getting locked in for generic and Breach for fast. This is a pretty big change from what they had before, as generic taking the primary duelist role now.
Yeah, this is honestly going back to what I feel the primary roles are for NCSU. Right? You have generic now, the new duelist player, taking over for the GOAT, Henrik.
We miss you, Henrik.
After his graduation. We miss you, Henrik, so much. But coming into that role, I feel like generic has been really strong. Breed's back on his smokes that he's so well known for playing. Ranger J, my GOAT initiator player. Nuthium on Sentinel this time. You know, he's been kind of flexing back and forth as the semester changes. And Fast on Breach. Nothing new to him. You know, he's been on Breach since he's been put on this Valorant Red roster. But, you know, he's taken an IGO role, right? He's still kind of, he's not necessarily needed to frag, but it's fast, so he frags anyway, right?
And
it doesn't really matter.
This game.
We saw it on the Reyna.
He was top fragging for the entire lobby, even over Farzan, who had just an insane game. Because I think almost mirrored comps, but a Gecko in the mix for the side of FIU. Gecko. I love seeing this agent get played. Both sides running double initiator. I like FIU going for double controller in place of a sentinel, but this is going to be really interesting. I'm wondering if Nuthium's going to be able to have that success on this cipher. He had a bit of a rough game in the first one, and we're going to see if generic is going to be able to take those first kills like Farzan was, because that's going to be, I think, the key for NC State, to get some of these first picks, to get some of these really early engagements, set themselves up for success so they're not playing from behind like they were for a lot of Breeze.
Yeah, I mean, Farzan playing Omen here now explains why he was so lethal on Harbor on Breeze, right? Seeing Omen as kind of an independent smokes player where they can set themselves up to frag independently without, you know, they have that Omen blind, they have TP to kind of create these weird off angles or to kind of juke their opponents. Makes sense that Farzan was able to find these timings and have these huge impact plays despite being on an entirely different agent. And now we see NCSU gearing up to hit this B bomb site, where right now it's clear, and all we have is, I believe, Twistin, who's on that Viper, just sitting in market. Or Twisted, sorry. On that Viper.
No Sentinel means that the stalling, pretty much that entire job goes to Twisted, and he's gonna have his work cut out for him. If NC State ever wants to do a fast pop, you better hope that Twisted is there, or they're just gonna get onto the site for free for the most part. Nuthium trying to see if he can find any aggression, as two players from FIU are close on his right, and they might get real close to this trip, but Nuthium, perfect timing on the swing as they were focused on tiles.
Yeah, really good timing out of Nuthium. And Ranger J
wasn't expecting the second player.
Yeah, I was curious where that flash went, actually. It looks like it bounced off the wall. Nuthium finding the kill on the Thylo, though. That's 2 dead outside of A main. And now NC State. Oh, that drew the rotate. Now they have a free sight. All they have to worry about is Farzan, who goes down to generic in Boba. Twisted, finding one onto fast. Taken down to 60 HP, though. I'm not sure if he's aware of generic's positioning as he doubles up with Drud in Boba. But NCSU, they've already established so much control of the site. It's going to take a lot to throw them off of this. The Dizzy coming through. Generic finding both. It does not matter if he's gotten blinded. That's the round for NC State.
Nicely done. Generic coming up with 3 kills on that early round. Super good stuff from the duelist, as he's gonna make his impact known from the start and purchase up a Phantom. Really nicely done. And NC State full buy, 2 rifles online, 3 Spectres, and full save for the side of FIU. Classics only, barely any util probably bought. No armor even for any of these players. And I want to see maybe a fast play from the side of FIU if they have the chance, but it looks like they're geared up for a mid push, which is tiles crunch, maybe tiles take, and Goldman has his work cut out for him, but he's gonna get the first pick with the Sheriff.
Yeah, big pick with the Sheriff. And, you know, it's a great anti-eco weapon, right? Oh, that nade's gonna be huge. It's gonna cause Nuthium to back up, take a bit of damage. As we see FIU's taken all of this tiles space. NCSU now kind of corralled into elbow as Nuthium reclears towards spawn. You see kind of this, like, half and half division on the map, right? All revolving around where Farzan is. Just NCSU on their half, and FIU, unfortunately, having the greater half.
This is
this
really
slow
nice from
contact.
FIU. His Farzan
Right
gets
click
the
is
kill.
crazy.
Wow,
Right click is
that's-
crazy out of Farzan. I wish my
That's a-
classic did that.
That's a rough engagement for Fast. He
Yeah.
was not expecting Farzan to walk through the smoke. Even on this eco round, I think it was a really smart play from Farzan to try to get close range engagement. He's going to pick up a Spectre off of it as well, I'm pretty sure. But 2 rifles still in play for NC State. Even if it is a 3v5, they have a significant gun advantage, as there's a Phantom in the hands of Generic
seconds
and a
left.
Vandal in the hands of Breach. So it's going to be difficult for FIU to still win this round if NC State's able to get any of these engagements.
Grenade backside, cause some trouble for Twisted. Breach finding the second through the smoke. He's electric. He's electric. The bomb goes down for NC State. 12 seconds on the clock.
One enemy
They are
remaining.
aware of Goldman, but unfortunately finds one on the Nuthium. And Lathyla finds the kill on the Breach, and that is the round. I blinked, and I feel like what lead NC State had was quickly taken away by FIU.
Classics and a Deagle turned into a Phantom and a Vandal. FIU converting on their Thrifty. I love the mid play. They just put so much pressure on NC State to try to keep them into A main for a long time. Just super nicely done. I think that FIU's team plays, their little pops that they've done, have just been so clean the whole series.
Yeah, I mean, it's... there's not much more else to say, honestly. FIU has such great team play, and they're doing such a good job of kind of playing off each other's util, calling for each other's util, and just making things happen, even when in adverse situations like we just saw. See another A hit, early breach stun from NCSU. I wonder in these situations if NCSU is kind of throwing their presence away by all this util. Because if you think about it, they could contact up that B main position, and all you have there is Twisted in market, unaware of what's happening. Maybe you get a Viper Molly off first contact, but that's still a lot of presence. You know, a lot of people behind just, you know, maybe not a whole lot of presence shown. As now it's just kind of a standstill as NCSU slowly works up towards mid to contact towards Twisted in market. They're aware of that someone might be in here.
The double swing is Generic and Breach go for the fight onto Twisted, but nothing's gonna land. The decay will wear off of Generic, so he's still full HP. No armor available. I did want to point out earlier the little setup that Drud and Lathyla had on A. You can see the Gecko holding his flash through the window for Lathyla's contact. This is just super simple play setup. So when NC State walks up on this, well, I was going to wait for them to contact, but it looks
30
like Drud just
seconds left.
decided to throw it. But he does get to pick it back up. So that's free information for NC State. Lathyla going to take a little bit of space, but he's going to walk into 5 here, as that's only going to be 1 kill. A rifle going to get recovered for Generic, as they're going to be able to maybe take the site. Drud alone on A. What a shot from Drud!
Drud one tapped out the air, finds Generic. Now it's just NCSU able to take the site, but FIU be aware. Breed's fighting one with the Sheriff onto Twisted, and Goldman finds the trade right back. We're in a 3v2 situation, favoring FIU. They gotta make a play here. Coming through. NCSU fast finding the one. Ranger J going down, and then Fast. Honestly, it's just not a great situation. FIU still has so much util on board. That Omen Blind, you have Wingman, and who instead of going to the bomb was hunting out enemy players. Just really difficult to do, especially on such a, low buy from NC State.
Silver lining for NC State is that was their save round. So they get a full buy here, they got a bomb down, so they got a lot more money in their pockets now in order to be able to afford armor, to be able to afford that extra piece of utility. So you can see they're all bought down to zero, so that was very, very necessary. We have the From the Shadows available for Breach and the Showstopper available for Generic. So if they want to go for a playoff of that, they have Breach as well. So this could be a huge fast pop for NC State if they want to use those satchels. And now Dizzy being thrown up by Drud to get some information, and Generic will shoot her down. So now presence has been shown by NC State on this A site.
Yeah, it's almost been like Generic alone has created so much presence that it warranted sending Goldman all the way through CT to pick up this A position.
I learned
Now
something
we
new
gotta
just now. You can't send Boombot through Mosh. It does too much damage. I did not know that.
Neither did I. Huh.
You learn something new every day about Valorant. And now the Showstopper gets popped by Generic as he knows the presence is here. He will pull out Drud, but Drud in that CT position has just been unstoppable. Generic getting sat down twice in a row in the exact same spot by the exact same player. That's pretty funny.
It's rather unfortunate, honestly. You know, if I'm Generic, I'm making sure that never happens again. With Isla finding one on the Ranger J, fast finding a trade back. Drud finds two, though. Nuthium able to clean it up a little bit, but it is a 1v3 situation. Is Nuthium aware of Twisted here on this A-link position? Sees Goldman unable to look two places at the same time, and that's the round for FIU. I'm hoping NCSU defense tier. That's all I'm hoping for on this one.
Try hard,
they have-
Nuthium, to give us some motion sickness there, but it didn't come out as he wished. I will say, I think NC State's comp is very good for defense. With the Cypher available to lock down one of the sites, and you get so many interesting cam positions for the defensive half as well, along with this Breach Raise that can take space in the early rounds so easily. I'd love to see them utilize that. This is their map pick, so I assume they practice a little bit more, and they're ready with some of these pops on the defensive side, but we have to get through their offensive side first, and the more rounds they can get, the easier it is.
Yeah, it's an eco round for the side of NC State. You know, you see, I think 5 sheriffs for them on this buy. Oh, a stinger in hand of Nuthium, so maybe not entirely sheriffs, but it's... You see them slowly work through market.
Cage will cut off the stairs position, and if Farzan forced to push back into main, Twisted and Farzan will combine for 2, for 3 actually, as Nuthium finally gets a trade back, but Twisted is still alive in backside. And now it's just Nuthium available with a stinger. Twisted will clean him up, and that's a well-played round by the controllers from FIU. Just site defense, unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, Twisted backing off into that main position was huge there, and honestly, really well played. He was aware of that market presence. His teammates were communicating with him, hey, they're here. And he just said, well, I'm not going to try to escape backside, because that's not going to go well, so he runs towards main, and that proves to be a worthy off angle. I think he got 2 there, and really converted on the round, farming those eco frags.
FIU shooting extremely well this game. They're winning a lot of their duels. We do have a full buy now for NC State. Farzan looking for an engagement, but there are 4 players here, so he's gonna get the hell out as soon as he spots one of them. Smart move from Farzan.
Yeah, I mean, he's been really disciplined this entire series so far.
Cover going out.
We see Fast towards this, I don't know what you call this, little box.
We can call it
box
B
in
main.
main. We could just call it B main. Fast and B main, kind of. They seem to be aware of each other, but not really wanting to make anything happen right now. And it's almost, we're in a standstill. You know, NC State, again, going for this poke and prod kind of tactic, just to see if they can find early picks in the FIU defense. You see with Thyla taking this main space, really big for FIU, because now they're just like, hey, they're not here, they're either mid or B, and I'm gonna bank towards B. With Thyla finds the kill onto Nuthium, and now it's 8-5.
Nuthium not ready for the engagement there. Breeds will try to check for some more info with the From the Shadows. And now, ooh, the timing was not there for NC State as Generic barely allowed to stay alive, as the flashes coming out from NC State will allow them to take the site. 3 engagements go the way of NC State as only Generic falls 3v2 in favor of the Wolfpack, as Goldman will come into this market position, pop his ultimate, And Lethiela will pop his as well.
One enemy
2v2 now. As Lethiela will get one more. It's just fast. And now it's a 2v0 as FIU won every single engagement.
Yeah, I'm frankly kind of shocked that went the way of FIU, especially after those 3 picks, despite Generic getting team flashed after team flashed. Now I know how my team feels when I'm flash them, and it honestly does not look fun. So, apologies to them.
Taking the
Timeout,
smart
a much
move.
needed timeout. A much needed timeout. 5-1 on your own map pick. You're sitting there like, what's happening? Hopefully, BlazeTap is breaking down everything we've seen so far. That early aggression out of Lethiela with the Gecko flat, with the Dizzy coming through to give some early info. It's looking like a lone Cypher trip is not enough to just kind of maintain that space. I think you see some pings coming through market here out of the side of NC State. Maybe that's where next play is going. Maybe a little B split action.
I think if they want to play that slow, they need to keep someone a little bit further up in A main. Lethiela's just been able to take that space for free almost every single round off of a Dizzy that gets recovered instantly. So they're not in NC State should probably invest a couple more resources into keeping that space, especially if they don't want to hard commit to B. But I would also love to see a little bit more mid presence. I think maybe some wraps towards like all the way through top mid to maybe get a split in or a B split in from market as well. I feel like whenever they've taken a site, it's just been go straight into main. We're gonna jump our util and worked a couple times, but I would love to see them take a little bit more space, be a little bit more creative in their early round.
Yeah, we see NC State going back towards this B bomb site. They're aware that Twiston's in market. They're aware that Farzan is taking this early space. They're popping the KO ult early and hoping to just get a fast one on the site. The Omen flash is huge, though. Blinding Twiston in market, not allowing him to push out of that Omen smoke, and forcing FIU into this really off position. Now we see, like you were talking about, they do need to keep someone there. And clearly, Twisted and Golden finding 2 on the Breach and Generic. That Omen TP was a little aggressive for my liking, I'll say.
I really loved the idea from NC State. You can see they invested so much to try to keep the market position, but nothing was gained from it, unfortunately, as this lurk is going to amount to nothing from the side of Nukium, as he's going to attempt to keep a stinger. Won't even be able to get one onto Farzan. That's just such an unfortunate round for NC State. Twisted was full stunned when he killed Breach. And then we had one more engagement come from the side of Boba, like all the way up market. And you can see, like, the pings, they're still talking about where they died from. That's just, I think the play call was really good from NC State, but some things went wrong, went sideways.
Yeah, just unable to convert. Like you were saying, I love the hit, love the KO ult, love that blind market. Again, forcing Twiston off the angle, allowing him to take that site for free, but FIU just ready to flood right back after the round. And now we see NC State just sending it mid, making a lot of noise on this market door. Opened immediately, but it doesn't look like that's where they're trying to commit. As you see Fast and Generic up towards this top mid smoke. Maybe looking to flash through.
I like this play from NC State. It's a big change of pace, but I think they telegraphed it a little bit too much. As you can see, Drud is just ready for it. As he's going to get 2 kills, Goldman are going to combine for a 3rd. And the smoke in top mid that I don't think they've thrown since round 1 is just too obvious of a play for NC State, I think.
Yeah, that's playing Sunset. If you see that top mid smoke, it means one of 2 things. It means they're going market, or they're about to flash out of a smoke on you. And if you hear absolutely nothing and your market player is seeing not a whole lot out of that door, or if they're jiggling, whatever it may be, Drud finds a 3rd on a Breach.
And a 4th.
And a 4th on a Nukium. But like I was saying, if you're not seeing a whole lot out of market, it's just so clear. And luckily for Drud, he was in the right place at the right time to find 2. Goldman cleaning up that 3rd.
I don't even know if I want to call it luck. I just think he read the play really well, and he was in a really good spot to avoid the flash as well, because you saw him turn it, you saw him get 2 immediately on the double swing. So really, really nicely done by the initiator duo from FIU. They're just able to read the play. They're able to get the kills. They're able to shut down whatever NC State's going for on their eco. And now Dizzy's just going to get more value on the same main side. Is they're going to get probably a lot of value if NC State chooses to speed up here.
Yeah. See the early Dizzy out of Drud, finding Generic. They have the presence there. Good flash by Goldman. I got at least 3 of NC State's players. Lithila fighting one onto Nuthium. Being flashed off this mission. His fast just runs out of pass by outside in that elbow position. Run and gun galore. He gets 3. And now NC State kind of has control of the site. But Farzan jumping out of that A-wing position. Causing a little bit of panic for NC State. But the bomb's going down. 3v2 situation on the post plant. Fast, aware of their position. The aftershock coming through, and Generic and Breeds fighting too. They did line up for Breeds, but Generic hitting his shots, as we do here.
Play from Fast. He just said, you know what, screw it, I'm taking over, I'm running through the Gecko Molly, and I'm killing 3. And he did exactly that. It's just beautiful, beautiful stuff from the IGL of NC State, the team captain, taking over when things matter. And Wilmer immediately wanting to stop the momentum, immediately wanting to keep NC State from gaining anything. Fast was heating up, and he said, I'm going to cool you down.
Yeah. I mean, granted, that timeout came in at what? 5-1? 6-1? If I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that? So, it's, you know, they've had a couple rounds to kind of build that momentum, and like you said, Wilmer really shutting it down now. Arguably, what I've seen 90% of ranked players who play Breach do. Throw a flash, they're all blind, I'm just going to run at you, and Fast most definitely has the aim to back that up. So really, really glad to see the independent play out of this IGL, just saying, all right, I'm the captain of this ship, and I'm going this way right now.
He said, I'm taking the wheel.
He said, I'm taking the wheel, and we're going.
I love it.
I love the play out of Fast. But timeout's coming to a close. NC State still geared toward this A-bomb site. Honestly, nothing's changed. I'm
Hit them fast. Hit them right
okay.
there.
I say that as Goldman and Drud move towards mid, and Lithila now alone on elbow. The stun coming through. Fast play from NC State as Lithila is barely getting away. Boombot destroyed. As Generic throws their own Boombot right back. The site is empty. We see all FIU grouping outside of these element smokes, so ready to flood at a moment's notice.
Oh, Twisted got a timing, and he's gonna get one onto Breeds as well. He knew the Cypher was silenced from the KO, so he could walk right by the trip, and now Thrash gonna get value onto 3 players! As NC State just gonna get cleaned up on site. Ranger J will get one back for his troubles, but Drud, I don't know if you noticed at the beginning of the round, the mid take was we had Twisted over in Market, throwing some utility behind Thrash, and they just took so much space over here. As soon as they heard NC State speed up on A, they called Thrash back, and they retook from here, and that Thrash, the second go of Thrash, had so much value. Just beautiful, beautiful play design from the side of FIU.
Yeah, I mean, Thrash is huge. I mean, granted, 90% of the time I use Thrash, it gets broken immediately, but that was really good to kind of disguise where Thrash was coming from and set up for a beautiful detain out of FIU. Now we see this mid space quickly being taken by NC State on their eco round. We do have the showstopper online, so if needed, that could be popped for a big singular frag or multiple frags, depending on the situation. Drud finding one onto Generic. The stun just a little wide. Watching right back, they really want to take out Drud, but FIU being so good at just giving and then taking back these positions. Goldman finding a second, and now it's all down to Fast, who unfortunately falls to Drud. And that's a 9-2 for FIU.
Last round in the half.
I don't know. Breeze was looking more like NCSU's map pick than Sunset is, if I'm being honest.
This was definitely a little bit of a tough round. I think you saw Generic come out with no flash, and the stun going wide means that they didn't have any extra insurance to try to get that kill onto Drud. But Drud, in this mid position, has been unkillable, has been so clean, has been getting these one-taps, been keeping anytime there's a mid-aggression, Drud has been ready for it. And I'm just super impressed by this initiator duo from the side of FIU. They're getting every kill, getting every engagement, and their utility has just been on point the whole time. Cross-slap knife coming out from Goldman to try to kill the B-main guys, but Generic pops his showstopper, doesn't find anyone just yet, and shoots it blindly into Bobuff to no value at all.
Yeah, good read on the ult, honestly. Fast going down to Twisted. He's just so patient. Generic working up towards backside, ready to pop off of that KO flash. But all of FIU is there. Ranger J finds one, Lathyla finds back. Run, another. Now it's just Wingman on the bomb, and Breeds is just left to spam as Nuthium tries to wrap Boba. It's halved. Nuthium finds one, finds a second. Oh, the third! It's halved. Oh, Nuthium!
From Nuthium!
Go!
He was so close. The bomb was a pixel away from getting defused, but he gets the first two, kills Drud through the smoke, and he gets the last one on a Furzon. What a play from Nuthium to make it a 3-9. 9-3 curse. NC State wants to call it a 3-9 blessing as they're going to switch over to defense, which should be their favorite half.
I couldn't agree more. That was such a beautiful play out of Nuthium. If someone in chat could clip that, I would appreciate it. Because I want to watch that back later. That was so well done by Nuthium. Just a sliver of time left, and he's able to convert. Oh,
I just want to shout out Observer Hutaru for catching every single kill on that. Go in the production right now. Appreciate you for being on, bro.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Huge coverage out of Hutaru. Now we see kind of the same setup out of FIU. Early pressure towards this A-bomb site. Now it's just Fast and Breeds, trying to get as much information for their team as possible. Breeds running away.
He's got to get the hell out of Dodge as he's alone with a classic only, and there's 4 players up on this A main position. Furzon, the only one disconnected from the team, is he's going to look for some space in B main, as there is a possible pivot here from the side of FIU. There's so much space, so much time. They got a lot of rotates as well, as it's just the Cypher utility on this B site now. And it looks like a full pivot from the side of FIU is 4 players now rotated over. And NC State slow on the uptake to get back to this B site.
Like we were saying earlier on Breeze, NCSU's had a lot of good retakes in this entire series. So I'm looking to see if they do something similar to FIU, and that is kind of play really patient, right? They might be throwing so much util on the site that isn't getting a whole lot of value, but they're ready to throw everything right back at them and flood on the retake. I see NCSU coming through market and main. Bit of a split retake, but it's looking like it could be a crunch. But are they aware of Twisted? The extremely late trap. Ranger J by 3, though! This could be huge.
Both players low as Lathyla's nade will connect with Ranger J. It is a 1v2. Lathyla is low. Nuthium was a hero last round. He's going to need to be even more than a hero this round as he's going to take the fight onto Twisted. And Twisted, full HP, will get 1 bullet into Nuthium and make it double digits for FIU Varsity.
It's unfortunate, right? It was looking so good for NCSU. They have the read. Granted, Nuthium's camera did see Furzon on that early, contact up B main, but it's Wilmer calling a timeout, which I'm kind of surprised about. But at the same time, it could just be like a, hey guys, we got away with that one, right? Mm-hmm. Let's collect, reassess, and continue into this attack half and kind of close it out. And I'm hoping Tap is also taking this time to say, hey guys, we know what we got to do here, right? It's 10-3. It shouldn't be like a let's all make heroic plays, but it's like NC State knows what they got to do here. They gotta be willing to give up these sites and flood back while expending so much of their util at the same time, right? You saw on NC State's attack half, it looked like they had so many really clean executes, right? A lot of good util usage, just unable to find any value. Hopefully, Tap is taking this time to say, hey, this is what happened to us. Let's make it happen to them.
I want to see NC State make a big play here. I think they definitely have the utility with the breach and the raise here to try to get some early space. I think Wilmer is probably expecting the same thing on this 10-3. NC State probably needs something big and something aggressive here in order to gain some momentum back. Nuthium is alone here on this B site, and it looks like FIU is grouped up towards them. Just Twisted alone here as we see a bunch of NC State players, stingers in hand, trying to find something onto A, but just the instant pivot from FIU, and they're going to speed up towards this B site. Really, really smart calling from the IGL of FIU.
Yeah, I mean, you have that early util, just making it clear that there's not a whole effect here. Ranger J finding 2 with the Sheriff. Make it 3 with the Sheriff. Ranger J. Fast finding another. Now it's all down to Twisted. That late lurker that we were talking about at the beginning of the round watching his team go down on that B bomb site. As NCSU recovers some rifles and looking to close out the round, finds the kill on the Twisted, and that's the round.
Heroics from Ranger J as he gets 3 with a sheriff into. I think they had like 3 rifles in that round. Bought up for FIU, and Ranger J said, "I'm just gonna click your heads." I was scared for that round because NC State just, they were completely bamboozled, and FIU just had such a strong uptake on that front site. But the Stingers and the Sheriffs ringing true for NC State, getting their kills, and they're gonna make it 10-4, win their thrifty, and force FIU onto a save.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of thing we've been waiting for out of NCSU. It's almost like they've been a little bit asleep, and that in the past couple rounds, all starting with that Nuthium 4K, bringing them alive, seeing the NCSU we all know and love, and now kind of a slow default towards this A main tiles area, just again trying to see what they can get.
Breed's holding out the paranoia, waiting for the contact as Farzan will make himself known. No fight to be had, though. He does only have a classic in hand. Ranger J with this Bulldog, looking for something in A main, fast. Waiting for the pop out in mid. The same place Drud was playing generic. Getting 2 off screen. Make it 3. Make it 4 as left built Lathyla. Bringing it back with the Spectre. Wow, what a shot. You don't expect Spectre to win out in that fight. And now Farzan has made it all the way up mid. But Fast will sniff him out, and it is just Lathyla on 30 HP. Only a Spectre in hand, and Breeds will clean him up to make it 4 alive for NC State. And that is an important round to win and not lose too much econ on as well for NC State.
Yeah, I mean, really well played out NCSU, and Generic went huge with that 3K there. Really, I know I was saying it doesn't have to come down to heroics, but
it's coming down to heroics.
It's kind of coming down to heroics, yeah. But honestly, NCSU overall is just being really good and just holding down the space early, right? They knew that was a save round. They said, hey, we're not going to be swayed by any early aggression anywhere, and just held down that A main space so well. Now we see early Dizzy out of the side of FIU. Some smokes. Are they going to expect Breets in this elevated position, though?
I really love this off angle from Breeds. I think it's so cool. I think Goldman's flash is going to hit him if he shoots it, but Twistin waiting for a link, but I don't know if he's going to be aware. He's got to be great. And now this knife is going to get 4. So Lathyla unable to use his second satchel, unable to make it out on the site. Breed's still in a great position, but nobody coming to challenge him. As we see the bomb go down via Wingman, and NC State in a full retake situation.
They are aware of Breets' position. The nade goes a little wide, though. So, nothing to complain about there if you're NC State. Able to burn that nade just for being in that elevated position. The retake coming through, the stun catches Farzan on that box. It's a little too long now as Concuss wears away. Twisted finds one, Ranger J a second. Nuthium and Generic finding 2. A third by Fast. And Goldman gets closed out by Nuthium. And that's a really great retake by NC State. Honestly, like I was saying, you know, those flood retakes, just trying to get them to burn as much util as humanly possible. And that's how both teams seem to be playing this defensive half of Sunset.
Drud getting sat down by Fast there. What a shot from the IGL of NC State. As the breach, making him, once again, making a huge play, aggressive first frag as we're going to see a change up in the setup for NC State now. Generic and Fast combining here to try to take some B main control. And NC State slowly starting to make this comeback. This should be another save for the side of FIU Varsity. As we see Deagle's bought up for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, if you see the paranoia is being held out, they're looking for some early aggression on this A main take as they start to flood into elbow. But you just see Breets and Ranger J playing so passive, so disciplined here. Like I was saying, they're just letting them expend so much util. As you can see, flashes, smokes, boom bots. Now Wingman going to plant the bomb out of FIU. They're just doing so much to try to get this control, but NC State hasn't wasted anything. As you can see, they still have KO ult online, ready to shut down this Thrash if need be. But FIU pivoting towards CT.
I like this aggressive position from FIU to try to make something happen, but Farzan gonna go down as 2 players get detained, but Fast is there to protect both of them. As he's not gonna be able to get a single kill, and this is scary! And John gets 10! What a shot from Droid! 2 with the Deagle. Ranger J will get picked back up, but that's so much time wasted. You have to speed up so much if you're NC State now. The nade getting burned. Goldman has a Deagle in hand. It's a 2v2. Generic with everything to do. Will get both, and Ranger J is on the defuse. And I believe he has time. It's so close.
Thrifty.
And the bomb will explode. Generic and Ranger J both going down. What a play. Oh my god, Drud went huge.
Drud went nuclear there, finding, I believe, 3 with the Deagle. That honestly, that's just, you shake your opponent's hand there and you say, well done. There's not much more you could do there if you're NC State, right? The Thrash coming through, you had 2 detained players, Fast forced to try to cover his teammates. Unfortunately, that meant swinging into 3 players, right? Even if they have Deagles, that's not something you want to do. It's not an ideal situation, rather. So, unfortunate all around, but really well played by Drud. Some huge heroic plays, which honestly might be needed to win them some of these last few rounds, as NC State's taking a timeout to try to recover, say, hey, happens, right? They were so close at winning that round. It just came down to time. I'm sure Coach Tapp is going over and saying, hey, all we got to do, we get it. We're going to have that fight there in CT or any other isolated fight, but we got to make sure we're prioritizing the bomb and we're keeping track of what time it's at.
I think asking the players to relax is probably a good idea. Taking a second to let them breathe after a super hectic round like that, in which ults went down, it was super close, it was super intense. I like the idea from Coach Bernie to slow things down, let them breathe, and mentally reset. It's still 11-6. This is still a very doable comeback for NC State if they're able to get a couple more rounds and maybe break FIU's economy a couple more times. But FIU on the cusp of hitting game point, making it match point as well. If they're able to make this a 2-0, it'll be a strong showing from them.
I couldn't agree more. We see this early B main presence. Sorry, I had my sights backwards. Out of FIU, and they're slowly going back, kind of re-clearing mid, doing their due diligence. As we still see Twistin kind of sitting outside of A, making sure they can't gain any more space than they're allowed to. That Omen one way, also swaying Twisted off a little bit more. As we see NCSU still holding the space, but FIU is slowly ready to explode. Lafila satchels through, the nade coming through out of Generic, but he can't convert on it just yet. Fast finding one onto Lafila. Twisted going down to Generic. Generic almost finding a second. Goldman gets the kill though. Now it's back to the stalemate as we see Farzan just waiting right outside this Cypher trip mid. Unable to do anything just yet. Ranger J seems to be aware as we cut to Breets and Market. He's looking to get anything. The paranoia off of the wingman. Farzan finds the kill on the Ranger J. Perfect timing out of Farzan as they group towards this market area. It's looking like it's going to be a B hit.
Fake TP from Farzan to try to scare off Breets, and he's going to tuck into this corner here. All of his work comes from he's going to get Breets on the spray down. What a play from the controller player from NCSU as the heroics continuing. NC State continuing to make this comeback.
I bet we're going to see that one on Twitter later. That's all I'm going to say. I've been seeing so many Breets Twitter clips, and I've been waiting for these heroic plays out of him. And honestly, it's great to see it finally happening. Breets, such a great player all around. If I could talk about him for just a little bit. Started out NCSU Black. I got the opportunity to play with him, and all I can say is such a hard worker. Such a great player all around, always looking to improve as we go into this next round. We see FIU getting some early util out of NCSU. 4 players here, and it seems that NCSU is aware.
This. Please don't swing this. Please don't swing this. Just hold your flash out.
He wants it.
Oh, got twisted! Wasn't even blind, but the trade coming out from Fast. Just Generic falls first, but Farzan falls next. No rifle recovered for FIU, and another fight for Ranger J. He's gonna chuck a flash into the window, and now 2 more players, and they're all gonna go down. I was scared for a second, but Ranger J got me covered.
Ranger J the GOAT. Always a very consistent player all around, I will say. You just saw both initiators there just alternating flashes and saying, hey, none of you get to see now. It's cool. You get all the colors of the rainbow on your screen. Have fun. So
they got to play Valorant for real for that round.
They got to play Valorant for real. Great anti-eco out of NC State, honestly. Only one player going down to that really great shot out of Twisted. But
This goes here.
We'll see what becomes of this round as FIU's able to get a buyout. Gear towards this B-bomb site.
Backing off the CT immediately, and you can see the satchels are getting used to try to burn through these trips. As Breeze is in an elevated position, takes a lot of damage though, as Lathyla was ready for him. So much damage as Breeze gets taken out by the nade now, and this is just so nice from FIU. Now they get to take all this space into Boba, and NC State has to fight through all of this utility just to even start the retake. The Viper's Pit is on site as well. So much time wasted. FIU with a beautiful follow-up onto their fast take.
Dizzy coming through. Breach hold coming through as well. Luthium and Fast both able to clear. Generic huge on the Raze ult. Now all the FIU players corralled into main. The Cypher cage creating a one-way. Ranger J finding two. So down to a 1v1 in no time, unfortunately. And Frazan's going to put the team at match point. And series point, might I add.
Very close for NC State. I think, like I pointed out, it actually turned out NC State won a lot of those fights towards the latter half of the round, and they were able to get some space onto the site, but all the stall, all the pre-work that FIU had done paid off so beautifully, and there was just no time for NC State to make anything happen. So that's match point and series point. If FIU is able to convert this next round, they will convert into a series win. It'll be a 2-0. Lathyla, only a Stinger in hand, is going for a play. Gets the Generic with the Stinger, even though he got traded back. Generic, I think I would be pissed if I was him.
I'm head and hands. I wish my Stinger did that. We see Fast on such low HP as well because of that. Now it's just NC State has to play as safe as possible in order to avoid any more guns falling to the hands of FIU. As we see, that's at least 2 Stingers in their possession.
They're on a save, even though they won the last round. This is kind of crazy. A Deagle in the hands of Drud and Twisted as well. This is a little scary. Breeds will get one back onto Furzon. So it's a 4v3. 2 players from NC State very low though. So any of these kills, any of these bullets, stray bullets land on these players, and NC State will be on 2v3. Dizzy will get used, so that's another piece of util gone away by the side of FIU, and now it's just Twisted alone. Ranger J will clean him up, and NC State retakes beautifully. Just nice.
I'll be real, that was a nail biter. I thank goodness they got that kill onto Furzon lurking mid. They're so aware that Furzon has been such a pivotal point, or at least either Furzon or Twisted, whoever it may be, lurking mid, just creating so much like stall in a way, right? They're just forcing NCSU not to be able to fully commit and flood that site immediately after the bomb goes down. So getting that kill early, maybe that's a misplay out of Furzon, maybe that's, you know, just unfortunate timing, but NCSU finding that kill was such a pivotal point in that round.
Full loadouts for both teams. A couple of armors are low on the side of NC State, but rifles for everyone, rifles all around. So we're going to get to see at least one more full gun round for NC State. And if they're going to be able to convert off of this, but a lot of mid pressure for FIU is they're going to send the boombot into market through the door as NC State re-clearing that space now as FIU pivoting towards B main.
Yeah, I mean, we just have Twisted outside of A. I mean, this is what you're talking about. You just have to leave a player out there to maintain that space. He's slowly working up just to maybe find a pick, maybe get some info for his team. They could be aware that they're all towards B here, and NC State's just got to play patient. They got to be aware that this Raze ult could do some massive damage if not accounted for. This goes down. Twisted finds one onto Breets. KO Knife is going to find a good amount of NCSU players.
Oh, this lurk is so scary from Twisted. I don't know if Nothium is aware. Fast might not be aware as well. The timing is so bad! Nothium will go down! Oh, Fast! Ranger J making it happen onto 2! It's now a 2v2! Gecko alive, Drud in B main, 1 in market. This is so difficult for NC State. They still have Gecko utility, Wingman available as well, and Twisted is going to be able to swing onto 1, and Drud will find the last, and FIU Varsity will complete a 2-0 onto NC State Red. A solid showing from FIU.
Yeah, it's NC State really great showing, bringing it back to 13-9 after such a unfortunate offensive half. But those lurkers mid, I mean those double controllers, both alternating lurks and mid, were just causing so many problems. We saw Twisted in that last round finding 4 kills, 6 first bloods on Twisted. I guess him and Farzan kind of traded off a little bit there. Pretty good spots out of the controller players, honestly.
I really want to point out FIU just so good on the micro plays. Even if they didn't have a ton of like super like huge set plays, didn't have a ton of like gigantic super complicated strats, they were so good in these little 2-man plays when you would have an initiator and Lathyla or an initiator and Farzan just taking some space together, playing off of their flashes, off of their util. They really showed mastery of the game in playing as a team and playing together, and probably a lot of coach to Coach Wilmer, probably a lot of credit to Coach Wilmer for instilling such great habits in these players. And it's really incredible to see a collegiate team be able to play off of themselves that well.
Yeah, I mean, NC State, great showing today. Shows that we gotta go back to the lab, maybe some VOD review, just to kind of tweak some things, right? But it's been a pleasure casting tonight. I've been Cloudsy.
I've been Avinash, North Carolina. Thank you all for watching so much. Keep it, what am I looking for? Keep it trained, keep your eyes trained on the esports at NC State Twitter, on the Discord. We're going to be streaming a lot of matches this year. Keep it tuned in for League of Legends, for CSGO. That's not CSGO, for CS2, for more Valorant, and maybe some Overwatch action as well, as we got a lot going on. Join the Discord, follow us on Twitter, come to the Space and Hunt Library if you're a student, have fun, enjoy some people, make some new friends. But until then, we'll talk to you later.